All right, so we're doing things a little different here. This is Diabetes 180 presenting why we moved to Portugal. I figured this would be a good video to make because a lot of people ask us, why are you moving to Portugal? I get the question all the time, and now I could just send them a link. I'll send them my YouTube channel and say, hey, this is all the reasons. Well, we're gonna try to, we could have this conversation for a long time, right? You can talk for a pretty long time. We're gonna try to limit to just 15 minutes the most. For one, we got things to do today. And because of course, we don't wanna bore you with the details, but I think it is an exciting journey of how God has been leading us up to this moment so far in our journey. So I don't even know where to start. Yes, so people ask, why you moved to Portugal? I guess what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
For me, there's a lot of reasons, but the most important is time with family.
For sure.
Yeah,
sure.
But not having to, at least you, because you work outside of the home, you don't have to be out 8, 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
That was a big deal for me.
And I guess for me, the first thing that comes to mind when I say why Portugal is for sure time with family is number one, but also number two is just to be able to live life on my terms in the way that I feel God is leading me to live it. And I feel like, in America, I love the hustle, I love the grind. We've been working hard for a lot of years. But it's a lot harder to live life on your terms because you got to make a certain amount just to make ends meet. And to make that certain amount requires you working 9 to 5. Where a lot of places like Portugal, you don't need to work as long to make ends meet. Does that make sense, right? So what it comes down to is you have more time for family and more time to pursue your own personal interests and goals, obviously, like Diabetes 180, which is been around for, I think we've been working with clients for about a year now, but this is just a new step in the right direction. But first off, I guess people might want to know, okay, are you ever coming back to America? What's going on? You're just going to stay there? What's your thought on that? Yeah.
We moved so much that I'm not saying anything anymore. It's just
that's true.
Next year we'll know.
Yeah.
The year after that we'll know.
1 year at a time.
Yeah, we just take it 1 year at a time because we move so much, and we always say that this is the last move, and it's not.
Well, I would even take it further and say we're taking it 1 month at a time, because we still have our house in America, right? Yeah. We didn't sell our house. We still have a car in America, so we could literally jump in on a plane and resume life in North Carolina. So we still have I would say we have 2 homes now. Like I don't know what I would say which is our first home, but Portugal is either our first or second home, however you want to call it. But we still have the idea that anything can happen.
Yeah.
We know for sure, especially finances, are really reliant upon my work as a physician assistant. I'm still a physician assistant licensed in North Carolina, and I still want to keep that active. So it requires me to work at least part of the year in America so that I can keep my license. Now there's 2 things that we can do. We're pursuing on like a remote telemedicine physician assistant position. That would be like plan A. Plan B is to work part-time in the States. I should say part-time, temporary. Get a temporary job where there's a lot of physician assistant jobs where I can pick up a job and work for 2 months, 3 months. Of course, the drawback is that's time without the family, but long term, we really believe in our coaching business, and that it will replace our full-time income. It just hasn't gotten there yet, but that would be the long-term goal. Short-term might be going back and forth. But I guess I don't know if we answer the question why Portugal. We could have chosen anywhere in the world, right, to pursue these dreams and these visions that God has for us. But why Portugal? What would you say to that?
I guess when we moved to North Carolina and we started that traveling position. It opened our eyes to the idea that we can move again somewhere. And we were talking about Portugal for at least 3 years now.
We were, right? Actually.
Yeah.
Would you say Our Rich Journey helped guide that too? I don't know, like, cause I don't know if anyone knows Our Rich Journey YouTubers that moved to Portugal.
Yeah.
They made it real popular, but
yeah. I mean, we were looking at it, but the main thing is that I'm a European citizen, so that helped a lot with, you know, and looking to see where we would go. And then we started to do some research on the best European country, let's say it like that, for us. And Portugal was the top of the list.
Of all European countries, because you have a European passport, it's easier to move to European.
Yeah, there's no visa process.
So we can move to Mexico. There's where else is very low cost of Costa Rica. There's a lot of places that have low cost of living. Obviously, is the most important value you're looking for. You're looking for a place with low cost of living. But Portugal made sense because it was one of the best as far as low cost of living in Europe, having a European citizenship. I'm riding on my wife's coattails of being European, so it makes it easy for us. I also add that I think though we were like Carmay said, we've been looking at it for a while, so it wasn't like overnight. A lot of our family members probably think, they just one day say, hey, let's just move to Portugal. And they weren't surprised because Lewis is always doing crazy things. So, but I think what really launched it, I think, is when I was at work, you know, feeling miserable, like I often am. And I should say, I love what I do, but you know, you get burnt out working 40 hours a week. I mean, for me at least, some people love it, but I get burnt out working at full time. And my wife, you know, she's worked full time. We've done both of us out of the home, and we didn't like that.
No.
We really didn't like that because then it's away from both our kids are being robbed of us as we're slaving for the system, you know, just to get by. And so my wife, by God's grace, I became a PA about 5 years ago. She was able to work less, pursue her own interests, and most importantly, taking care of the needs of our home. That was our desire, you know, a more traditional way of living. But, you know, still, I guess you miss me. You know, I'm working so hard, right? You know, and I was missing being home. I'm missing time with my family. I'm hating this 9 to 5, you know, clock in and clock out. Especially, I can make another video on this, but being burnt out with the medical system, the way things are today, you know, medicine-centered healthcare instead of lifestyle change, which is why we started Diabetes 180 together. But yeah, so where am I going with this? So basically, we're feeling burnt out, you know, with the grind and the hustle. And I'm looking to see how long would I have to work before I can retire. And that's pretty bad, right? You're in your late 30s and you're talking about like looking at your retirement. But I guess maybe a lot of people do that.
Maybe.
Right. But I called you, right, and I said, hey, I just put our numbers in a retirement calculator, and it was shocking, right?
Yes.
I don't remember the numbers exactly, but
I think it was like 5 million.
Yeah, not that much.
Crazy.
But it was like someone like you had to have 3 million.
5 million.
Three, like, you know, obviously everyone's needs gonna be different, but for our needs,
it said it for us to live on the same level that we're living now. It was 3 to 5.
Covering inflation.
Yeah.
And cost of living increases over time. Retirement calculator calculated that if I wanted to retire at what age? I think it was 75 or something like that. You know, debt free, because of course we got school debts. So our situation is different than others who don't have school debt. But you know, I would have to have earned a minimum. I think it was a minimum of $3 million. I'm like to retire at that point. I can't remember the age I said. It might have been less than 75. It might have been 70. I can't remember exactly. But I was like, I don't want to be working that long, and I gotta wait. And I'm looking at my current situation, and we are far from the mark. You know. So I'm freaking out like, man, I'm never going to be able to retire. I'm going to have to continue living and hustling and grinding. And again, it's different because it's like most people in America have to live with two incomes. We're trying to live off one. So that was also different, right? And so either my wife got to go back to work, but something got to change, or I live in a place where the cost of living is so low that I can still earn high earnings, but retire sooner and live freer. And so I did the same retirement calculator and plugged it in using other countries' cost of living standards, and it was amazing. I needed half of that. Some places less than half of that to retire even in an earlier age. So that makes something for us to think about as Americans. You know, I think a lot of people think about their retirement, but maybe for some people who have a situation like ours, they can find themselves moving even before retirement, so that you can get there faster. Yeah. So. And
if you don't, like, for us, I know we're not at retirement age yet, but we don't want to have to work full time until retirement. So this is a good opportunity for us to have fun while working.
Yeah, that's what it's about. And I'm glad you said it. It's not like we're trying to retire now, you know, but we want to make sure that we could live a life that pleases God ultimately, right? You know, with our free time, we can do ministry. We could work on this health coach. I see this health coaching business as a ministry, because we can help people not just physically, but also in a spiritual way, connecting mind, body, and spirit, you know, through our experiences and what we know of the Bible and our love for Jesus. So, you know, you can't really do things like that when you're just trying to get by and survive until your retirement. You know, where then, yes, now you could sit down and enjoy the fruit of the land. So it was a bit more about being able to live life in our terms and in God's terms, you know, the way we felt God is leading us.
Yeah, and it also gives us time to travel, because we like to move around, and living in Europe, it's way cheaper to travel around Europe. So, and we have the extra time to travel and all of that. So that's going to be fun.
So that comes down to like freedom to pursue your own interests again, right? If you like to travel, if you like to, you know, eat out, man, that's good. If you like to eat out, man, I mean, in America, you need to have a budget to eat out, right? You got to eat out budget. Here, man, forget it. Like, I can't remember what we were at the restaurant yesterday, and I saw like it was like $3 or $4 for like a euros, okay, euros for an item on the menu. I thought, oh, this must be an appetizer, because they didn't know €4 for full. I ordered 2 of that item, and it came out. It filled the whole plate. Like, I was like, man, it was like too much. I was like, what is this? This is not an appetizer. And wife reminded me, you have to remind yourself, you're in Portugal now, and food is a lot cheaper, lot cheaper. So that's one of the many things that we've noticed decreasing. We got just 2 more minutes. I said we're going to keep this to 15. What are the? I guess let's answer the question. What are your favorite things since you've been here longer than me? So, what are your favorite things about this move so far?
So far, I think the calm. Everybody, when I'm talking to my friends and family on WhatsApp, they all say, "You look so relaxed. You look so rested," and it's like the safety that we have here in the area that we are living in. Actually, you know, my daughter can get on the bus. She can go, you know, in town. She goes to school on the bus and gets home or whatever, you know, and you don't have that sense of having to look over your shoulder or to hear this other thing happening in the news or whatever. So the safety is a big thing for me.
And this last 30 seconds for me, it's a lot of things, but I feel like number one would be my spiritual growth. I feel like I have more time to have devotions, get up in the morning and spend time with God, you know, think about my life in a bird's eye view, feeling and I guess looking towards the future and what God wants for me. So that spiritual growth is huge for me. Of course, there's opportunities for spiritual growth anywhere in the world, but it's nice when you can take back your time, and yeah, that's why we moved to Portugal. This conversation could be longer, but again, I want to keep it short. We're over time already. So, of course, reach out to us if you have questions, comments, concerns in our description, in the comment section of this video, or if you have our personal numbers, family and friends, you know, we're here if you want to reach out anytime. America's still our home, okay? But right now, we're really loving Portugal. All right. So, as always, beloved, I pray above all things they may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. See you next week.